Hello again everyone, it's Adam at Leighton Vans. Now we're here with another video in our Leighton Test Day series. This one is a little bit of a different one. Now, we've worked with the Road to Mastery, Neil and Rob, for a good amount of time now. We've seen what they do with their customers on track at Leighton and things like that. And while we were up at Leighton, it was daft not to see if they could get me to go any quicker round Leighton and see if they could teach me things that I didn't already know. So stay tuned and find out how I got on behind the wheel of our LV demo van. Right guys, well we're still here at Leighton. We're currently sat outside the briefing room because luckily we've actually got some time for Rob from the Road to Mastery to take me out in a van and see if I can drive it and see if we can get me a little bit smoother, a little bit quicker. So we've got the Road to Mastery's van behind us. You guys use this van for these events.
Yep.
It's normally quick cars at this sort of thing for the training.
Usually, yeah, typically 911 GT3, McLarens, Aston Martins, that sort of nature. But we're keen that it's the driving enthusiasm that comes through. So there's no minimum entry of what your car can do. It's really about the mindset behind it. So yeah, it just happens to be that those sorts of cars make it quite obvious that some guidance and some confidence in how they behave is pretty obvious to owners.
So what we're going to go out for 15-20 minutes.
Yeah.
What's the plan? What we're going to do?
So obviously you're aware of what we do because Mike's embarked on this sort of stuff before. The simplest thing to do will be to just start and have a little drive around. Obviously you would have been around the circuit through the day looking at what we've been doing today, but that's different to driving it. So I'll probably just let you have a little drive, and unless there's something absolutely disastrous impending any moment, then
Hope not.
well you made it here okay, didn't you?
Well, that's it.
And we'll just sort of have a little look at what you do and just pick up some thoughts of things that might be a bit different. Quite commonly, there's differences between how we express what we're doing on the road to having the freedom of a track. So, you know, you're factoring in all sorts of possible what-if scenarios on the road, and that often then brings, I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag and give you a heads up yet, but that often brings a few issues or challenges that we can work on. And it's not to say that you're doing it wrongly, it's just that when you strip away some of those margins that you need on the road, then certain little things crop up.
Cool. Well, I'm excited for it. First time probably it is the first time for me driving aggressively on the track, and it's going to be in one of our vans, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to be sitting somewhat higher than the sports cars I'm used to.
Mega. Well, let's get out.
Okay, awesome.
Do it.
So Brighton Park, brilliant little training track. Big enough to feel like a racetrack, but small enough to work really nicely as a training track. So what we're going to do, as you approach here, the left-hander comes round these two bales, all three bales, and in between the orange curbing for the chicane. Nicely done. And then we're going to take the left, that's this side of the tyre wall. You'll see the single red cone, that's the start of the left hand.
Well, it looks like it creeps up on you, that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does a little bit. As you look through the curve or across the corner, it's quite hard to see because you can just see the grass. You almost can't see the road at first. And then as you follow it around, then taking the right off to this white bale. This left-hander brings us back to where we started. So you can see this is what we call the short loop.
Yeah.
Which is half of the big track. So it's a great place to start with the first section before you move on to the full track. So you already start to learn half of it. But you get a chance to do quite a lot of laps in not very much time.
Yeah.
Have you heard the term fixed input steering before?
I haven't, no.
Well, it's what you're currently doing. So your hands are in a fixed position, delivering the steering input that you need. So that's really good to see. That's something that we would be introducing if you didn't. There is a general rule that the sharper the turn, the later you turn. You'll always tweak a lot of these rules to suit a specific corner. But an interesting thing to try and do is to plan your approach from the back of the corner. So as you approach here, look across the corner and back.
Right.
Furthest to the front. Another phrase I often use is to let the road reveal itself. So, because if you turn in too early at the start of the corner, you ain't at it. So here, just stay around the outside, and then when you see through where you want, that's it. So it feels a slightly later attack, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it feels a lot quicker, yeah.
And then try flicking your vision through the curve, all the way through. See what happened to your steering? Where you looked, you turned a bit more. Didn't you? I mean, it's only minimal, didn't need much.
Feels weird giving a van some anger.
Well, you get so used to driving these on the road, if you turned in slightly earlier there,
Yeah.
and you've had to wait through the corner more,
Yeah.
haven't you?
I had to let off the steering a little bit.
Yeah, it's really interesting. But how much earlier? Minimal.
Yeah.
You know, half a van length or something. I'd normally say car length, but you know, you've got to keep it appropriate. Lovely. So again, just flicking your vision across the corner a few times, sort of glimpsing. And can you feel how when you feel comfortable, you're sort of like your eyes communicate with your feet. Now you came off the throttle there, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
So keep it really late, really out, in.
And
That's
in.
it.
Yeah,
And that's added 4 miles an hour just on that bit.
I felt like I could tuck closer to that bale then as well.
I can't remember the name of the F1 driver, but I heard a quote. Apparently, in some corners you have to hurry up and wait. And that you can really get that idea on that one there, can't you? Similar to this one. It's so tempting to turn early. Lovely, that's it. And then just keep the van, set throttle, set steering, minimal adjustments, throwing your vision. You can see the white bale. That's lovely, yeah. And see how that brings you round?
Ready for the
right
next
into
one.
the right place, absolutely. Fun throwing the van around the track. I mean, cars are great, but this has got an extra little dimension. Just wait for it, that's it. Good. Good. Throw your vision right up the top. That's it. You can even already see the tyre wall ready for the next corner, can't you? Is that further than you would have been looking?
Yeah, miles, yeah.
You see how stable the van feels with that steady throttle?
Yeah, that's... It isn't really steering, is it? You're steering with the throttle almost.
Absolutely. If I asked you what the throttle does, probably wouldn't say steering.
No. But it does.
You surprised how much you can push these through corners?
Yeah. I mean, you feel it on B roads and what have you, don't you? But it's a little bit different on the track.
Answer. Otherwise, we'd have to question how you got here this morning. So a little residual brake pressure to keep the nose in aids direction. Now here, you're naturally doing it because it just seems obvious.
Could have gone a bit wider then, I think.
Yeah, you're telling me now. But again, but only a fraction, and actually less disruptive to your speed than in those earliest laps.
Yeah.
So yeah, this corner here, your speed of approach and everything is fine. Just gently unbrake as you steer. So start steering, unbraking. You feel the front pops up if you let go of the brake quickly. Good.
And on the throttle there, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can feel we're near the limit of the tyres there.
Yeah.
Not that we're going to fall off the road, but it's not going to give you any more gains. So you want to release the brake really delicately. So you get on the brake and just really, you feel it just pops up. So you're sort of letting go, jumping off it.
I mean, how you can throw a van through there like
That's mad, isn't it? But then I often say to people, this is where on the road you have to quite rightly put margins in. You know, it could be car coming the other way, that sort of thing. We've stripped a lot of those needs for margin. So get onto the brake and then just very gradually relax. Feel the difference?
Yes.
That didn't pop back up, did it?
No. No, I can just...
This is why I use the term unbraking or tapering off, or I know Neil says easing off the brake, you know, whatever the terminology is, the action. So you can be on and then just tapering off. Lovely. And this is why I was saying that steering can become braking can become part of your steering, because it's blended with your steering in.
So take it that's where your sort of left foot braking comes from.
Yes.
Is that to try and sort of, see, I could have gone wider there, definitely.
That's all right, it's a bit chatting, that's okay, it's quite common. Yes, so left foot braking, all sorts of benefits, which we won't go into too much detail here. The challenge with left foot braking is most people just hit the brake like they do a clutch.
Yeah.
Although, I suppose it does help you slow down quickly.
Right. Well, first of all, thank you ever so much.
Absolute pleasure.
That was mega. I really enjoyed that.
No problem.
What do you think? What do you think about coaching someone in a van? Did we do all right?
Well, yeah, you did beautifully. I mean, there was no great big disasters, so it was just quite conversational, which is how I like to run what I do. It just feels more comfortable for the person that you sat with. But the vans, I mean, we found all through the day, they're impressive. They're more impressive than you might think. I think if you're getting something high-end sports car like, there's an obvious expectation that, you know, a McLaren 2020S is going to do pretty well around here, but the vehicles of this size, nature, particularly the height, is where I think they surprised us a little bit.
I mean, yeah, we were. I mean, it might not look that quick out there, but you know, when you first go out there, it's sort of, where do I need to be? Where do I need to drop in? Which is why you sat there sort of pretty quiet and just sort of took it in what we were doing.
To see how you go.
And then on those couple, you know, like steering with the throttle, that's something that's never come to my mind ever. But once you've been told about it and you start practicing it and you start actually putting it in place, everything feels smoother. You know, the drive, like we were looking at, you'll see it on the footage, when talking about when you press the brake pedal, you come off. That's how it works, isn't it? You use the brake pedal for stopping.
You thought so, yeah.
I thought so. However, braking hard and then gently coming off the pedal stops that front end from popping up, which in turn just makes everything smoother, feels quicker. We had 20 minutes out there and I've learned, loads. It's been mega.
But, you know, not just complimenting you because of why we're here today, but a lot of what you were already doing was fine. It's what we said at the start about changes between road and track. The big one, as I mentioned at the time, is we put margins in place. You know, what if there's a car coming around the corner, that sort of thing. So this idea with the brake particularly is it's very natural for road drivers to slow the car, I've done the speed bit, let go. But of course we've started to explore how brakes are often helpful for steering, which is not the obvious thing that you'd think.
And also looking right around the corner rather than looking dead in front.
Yeah, and again, that's where, as you attack corners a bit more spiritedly, officer, that natural occurrence of not looking as far, because again, if you slow in more reasonable manner on the road, you've provided that time that you can look through because you're not approaching at such a rate. So these are things I'd expect to see from someone that's not a seasoned track driver, and they're not failings in your driving, they're just differences in the way that we're exploring it today.
And that's what you guys pick out and work on, those little bits for individual people that have got individual habits already in place, I suppose, and you hone them into track.
Yeah, but broader than track. I mean, you'll see we talk about road, track and limit. So we use Brighton for the track work, as well as looking at using Bedford next year. But the road stuff is interesting because most people, when they seek training, will maybe think of the more sexy end of it, track work, Millbrook Proving Ground for dynamic vehicle handling skills, what happens when you step over the limit of grip. But how do you actually bring that into your everyday driving and your muscle memory? If you don't have coaching on the road, it's a huge percentage of your driving life that's being wasted in terms of practice. So that's where what we're really all about is doing it across the board. So wherever it is that you happen to be behind the wheel of a vehicle, we can look at giving you some guidance, whether it's myself, whether it's Neil, some of the experts that we bring in, because we absolutely believe that there's loads of skill sets out there, more than I'll ever possess individually, and that's the whole point. We bring guest coaches to what we're doing that are brought in on the merit of their individual skills. So yeah, but it's fun at the track, isn't it?
It's very good. It's very good fun. But no, I mean, it's been a mega day here today. You know, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I can't thank you guys enough for what you've done for us. It's brilliant. If any of you guys out there, any of our customers that have got vans, and you want a little bit of honing on your road driving, your track driving, these are the guys to speak to. The Road to Mastery, links down below. Hit them up if you're thinking about, you want to hone your skills a little bit, you want to do track, you want to do road, just speak to these guys. These are the ones to do it with you. But
thank you very much.
Thank you again, sir.
You're very welcome.
And hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Absolutely.
Maybe at Millbrook.
Yeah, absolutely. You're more than welcome.
Mega. Brilliant. Well, thank you guys for watching, and any questions on what you've seen in this video, drop us a shout, or if it's a question for the guys at the Road to Mastery, obviously get their details from below and give them a shout. Thank you.